Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Feels really sprightly around the corners and the steering is so responsive as well. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Mercedes GLA 35 AMG. Looks quite nice in this black color. Straight away we're going to be opening the engine bay, which means that I have to press this yellow lever, and there it is, the AMG motor with the Mercedes logo in chrome. Looks really very nice. There's insulation right there, of course. And this car has subtle changes when compared to the regular GLA, like of course the grille, which has been updated. However, there is a dummy here for the front camera, even for the front parking sensors. Big massive Mercedes logo. It's got active brake assist as well. For that, I think the sensor is right there, which obviously I usually turn off, but it's very helpful. It auto brakes. We've seen it in a ton of Mercedes cars, so no point of talking about it right now. Okay, there's an air curtain here. Yeah, can you see that? Yeah, there's an air curtain right there. The lights are really nice, multi-beam LEDs. And of course, you can see the DRL chrome inside, and it says Mercedes-Benz here on the side as well. This black color somehow suits this car a lot. Coming to the side of the vehicle, it is more crossover than SUV. However, when compared to the older GLA, this one definitely has a lot more presence. Doesn't feel like a jacked up hatchback at all. The wheels on this car, well, profile is actually nice. 235 15 19s. And it's having this silver finishing, and it says AMG for the brake caliper, of course. Meanwhile, the alloys also look pretty awesome. It says Turbo 4MATIC right here, and there is no light from here, which is there in the regular GLA. Coming to the side, you can notice chrome sort of finish on the door handles, and again at the rear, lights, everything very similar. However, two exhausts, sort of a diffuser treatment as well. Now this is a real exhaust. Actually the exhaust is behind, however it's functional. Rear parking sensors, the camera is hidden, of course it has to be. Says AMG right there, GLA 35 on the other side, and there's a spoiler which is colored in body color, so you can't really see it. Let's open the boot of the vehicle. The boot is decent sized, but I kept all the food items here. It's been flying all through the place. There's a light placement and obviously split folding seats. Power tailgate, press this button and there the boot actually closes. Takes its time, but yeah, that's a nice and nifty feature to have. Rear seat space is actually quite good, impressive, and there is AMG sitting. And you know what, red colored seat belts, it gets this red treatment, which is actually fantastic with this red stitching. Okay, you would expect a center armrest. That is not the case here. You can recline it like this. This should technically open because there's a split here. Okay, it does open like this, so you can open it separately. That's what I've done, but it's not really an armrest as such. So it's got a 40-20-40 split. Actually, there's good amount of space. Seats are really very comfortable. Scooped out seat back, magazine holder, but some hard plastics. Of course, USB-C charging socket, storage space, 2 AC vents. Not much to talk about. You get panoramic roof, 2 sunroofs, not one large piece. And this chrome treatment is also pretty damn awesome. I love the way they have finished the door pads, and of course the red stitching, super duper cool as well. So these sporty bits actually differentiate the AMG version of the GLA from the regular model. And coming to the dashboard, again looks sporty. The seats are very nice. Under thigh support, not a problem at all. Light controls and door pockets are big enough. I mean, all of this. Memory seats, you can save up to 3 people setting. Electric adjustment both for the front seats, for the both front seats that is. And you have got specific controls. This is for the suspension, this is for the traction control, this is for manual mode. This is nothing. Storage space here, touchpad, lot of controls. All that is similar to the regular GLA, so not much to talk about as such. What is there to talk about though is the fact that this particular display looks fantastic. Of course, I'm going to keep changing the displays when we are driving the car. I'm going to turn off the hazard light. I like the dashboard design. It looks very modern. Lot of gloss black finishing. In fact, you see these 10.25 inch screens, both of them look super duper awesome. This is obviously a touch screen, fantastic MBUX system, voice commands, touchpad, feels awesome to operate. Wipers work really well on this car. I love the fact that the roof is really nice, brings in a lot of airy feeling inside this kind of black cabin. Good side bolstering as well, red stitching everywhere. Ambient light gets 64 colors, can be seen in the day, and when you increase or decrease the temperatures, you see that become blue and now that becomes red. That's also nice. Attention detail is fantastic. Again, like I told you, 64 color ambient lighting. Steering wheel feels nice to it, gets sort of the flat bottom steering treatment along with this red stitching and metal on both the sides with cruise control, audio controls, you name it. This is a car which is extremely loaded with a ton of features. However, hard plastics are plenty low down, and opening this can be a bit of a task. Also, this is actually big enough. The glove box is big enough. The wireless charging pad here, The only thing is that all this gloss black is sort of a fingerprint magnet. Air conditioning works fantastically well. Engine start button, this is obviously the stock for the wipers. Okay, the wipers work really well. Lot of spray on offer too. Meanwhile, this is for the rear wiper and this is for the gas selector. Now, if I have to toggle through the system, I would tell you that it's super duper awesome. You've got a lot of nice displays as well. I personally love the Super Sport one, but the Sport one is also pretty damn awesome. Huh? Look at that. Okay, it takes a little time and you can choose to see whatever you feel like in the center, including a G-force meter. Now, this one is also fantastic, super duper slick. Once you get used to it, you're going to love it. In fact, it is the best in the business right now. And when you get into comfort, there's something known as seat comfort. You can actually turn on seat kinetics, which is sort of a massage, not the full one, but it actually gives you some sort of massage. Auto dimming inside, you have your mirror. Here you get a mirror along with a light. There's a handle to hold on to. Red seat belts look fantastic and height adjustable as well. But compared to the regular GLA, not much has changed, although it's become slightly more sportier. And I love the fact that this Burmester speaker is fantastic in terms of audio quality as well. So a terrific cabin, more features would be welcome for sure. I would definitely give it a big thumbs up from my side in terms of how they made it even more sportier. Although it's all about the engine, so let's get driving right away. All right, we're all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning completely so that there's no noise from there. Active brake assist, I'm going to turn it off at the moment, and then I'm going to actually come into sport displays. Yeah, performance, here we get engine data. That's cool. Drive mode, we have to get into Sport Plus. Traction control, I am going to get into sport handling mode, of course. And I'm also going to change the instrument cluster. So we're going to get into the instrument cluster and I want to put it into Super Sport. That would be super cool, right? Okay, here it is, Super Sport. Car is ready. Are you guys ready or not? We are in drive mode. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Hazard light off. Wipers on. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Revving the motor. Race start. This is a 2-liter petrol engine. It's turbocharged, of course, uses twin scroll turbocharging. The result is, first and foremost, you have to move aside from this road because that's really very rough, and the ride is obviously super stiff as well. Gives you complete manual control of things, which is also super duper awesome, because you know what, an AMG should have manual control, of course. Around the corners, a little bit more body roll when compared to the A35, but you know what is the best thing? There's such an instant response in the mid-range. So this 2-liter engine obviously produces good amount of grunt, which is 306 horsepower at 5,800 RPM, and the torque output of 400 Newton meters, which comes in between 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. So a little late in the rev range. That's the reason why it doesn't have initial grunt as such. Drivability could have been better for sure, but there's so much oomph in the mid-range, and the best thing is it's got a great top end as well. Okay, right now I'm not going to downshift because of manual mode, and there red lines at 6,600 RPM. Everything blinks red. Actually, the gearbox is super duper fast. It's a dual clutch unit, very fast with shift, absolutely insanely quick. Only thing is at slower speeds it stumbles a bit, but for the most part it is absolutely freakingly awesome with the shift quality. Does it in a jiffy, and the steering wheel is an absolute delight. 0 to 100 km per hour, 5.1 seconds, which is 0.3 seconds slower when compared to the A35 AMG, which also uses the same engine and the gearbox, of course. Meanwhile, top speed is 250 km per hour. Honestly, you don't care about it because it's more about the acceleration and the mid-range grunt. In fact, it has such a stupendous top end as well. Feels really spritey in the top end. Pushes really hard, although the sound could have been better. Yeah, Mercedes could have made the AMG sound a lot better because it feels a bit, do I say, a little meek. Could have been a lot more spritey, and every dab on the accelerator pedal in the mid-range results in some amount of enthusiasm to push you forward as well. So this is the same engine which actually is used in the GLA 250 as well. So this is not a full-blown AMG motor, which is the M139, which is used in the GLA 45 AMG. Okay, we had the GLA 45 AMG in India. Now we have the GLA 35, and you can see the response is super duper awesome. Feels so nice to drive this car. Body roll, of course, is more when compared to the A35, but you know, you don't have to worry about ground clearance at all. Braking performance is stupendous, really stops dead in its track, and obviously you've got active brake assist as well. You don't have to be really careful over speed breakers, which is actually the case with the A35, unfortunately, because the A35 is really very low, and that is the advantage of buying a GLA 35. You're slightly slower and you pay a little bit more money, and there's more body roll on offer as well. But the advantage is, you know what, you can absolutely fly over bad roads, but mind you, stiff suspension, so you have to be really careful over bad roads because you don't want to crack those amazing alloy wheels on this car, and then it becomes foggy but good visibility. You don't sit like an SUV position, more crossover-ish, but still you get a good view of what's around. And using the gearbox is such a pleasure because every time it downshifts, it cracks, it pops, and it blurps it as well. So yeah, I like the fact how this engine is so good. It's fantastic. Yeah, I know it's not having the true AMG character which you would expect, but still not much to complain about because it gets the job done by keeping you thrilled for most part. It's like a hot hatch in the real sense, with a lot of practicality thrown in thanks to the fact that it has good amount of space on offer, headroom is there, and obviously practicality is more so because of the ground clearance. It's actually a very drivable car. Talking about drive modes, there are 5 of them. There's slippery, there is obviously comfort, there's sport plus, and there's individual which you can configure. Basically what you can change, we'll stop and we'll decide that later. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. Actually gives you a decent amount of visibility on the outside as well. So I absolutely think that this is the car to buy if you're looking to buy an AMG, an entry-level AMG, rather than the A35, because A35, although looks better, this is more practical any day. And what a gearbox, what a fantastic gearbox. The engine is such a delight in this car. The fuel economy, obviously you can't expect much being an AMG because you're going to really extract everything in the mid-range, and when you do so now, obviously mileage is going to tumble, should return somewhere between 6 to 12 kilometers per litre depending on your driving style, and obviously when you drive it on the highway, that's going to stretch. Now what do these drive modes actually do? They alter a lot of parameters, like of course the engine, the gearbox, also the suspension's got adaptive dampers as well, which means that in comfort mode now the ride quality is definitely better, although it does a decent job over bad roads. The only problem is over big potholes, you can feel a lot inside the cabin, and when you can feel a lot inside the cabin, now you want to curtail the speed, so you can't really fly over bad speed breakers. Not only the fact that the suspension is on the firmer side and the chassis is also very taut, the bigger problem obviously happens to be the wheels, low profile tires. That actually affects how much you can extract from this car over bad roads, and that's the reason why Mercedes has also skipped on the off-road mode, which is there in the regular GLA. That has been removed. Instead you get something known as slippery. I don't know why you would use slippery, maybe in these conditions. So even with traction control off, you don't have to worry anything because it's got a 4MATIC system, and 4MATIC system means that power is being channeled to both the front and the rear axle. It will never ever slip. Yeah, it just doesn't slip. So there's no drama in that sense, because even if you launch the car aggressively, it doesn't wheel spin. Forget wheel spin. If you corner really hard now, it doesn't screech its tires. The only thing is it understeers near the limit. You know why? 50-50 weight distribution. I mean, it can channel up to 50% power to the rear wheel, so it's more of a front bias power delivery, which honestly is not that enjoyable because it doesn't have the drama which you would expect from an AMG. So we are going to change the mode again, and this time I'm going to put the basic one, which is actually classic. Air conditioning is completely off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, race start, and that didn't work right now, but here, race start, and off we go. Picks up pace really very nicely, and it's really the mid-range which is enjoyable. But I love the fact that the gearbox is so aggressive now somehow. It is always on point. It shifts like lightning fast. I love the gearbox on this car. Dual clutch unit, beautifully tuned, and of course you can use the paddle shifters as well. Like I was telling you, the 5 drive modes alter a lot of parameters, like of course the engine, the gearbox, the steering wheel, and the adaptive dampers on this vehicle. The steering wheel actually feels kind of light in comfort mode, but weighs up beautifully well in sport mode. This car is very enjoyable to drive in sport mode, but there's no taking away the fact that there is body roll when compared to the A35. However, around the corners, the steering wheel is such a joy to use. It's like pinpoint accurate. You can point and shoot. Obviously, the A35 is even more, so this weighs slightly more than the A35 has to, but just look at it go. Super duper awesome. Maintains its line beautifully, and yeah, you don't have to worry at all by pinning it. Even with traction control on sport or even when off, nothing's going to happen. This car is just channeling power to the front so much that you don't even realize when the rear axle actually chips in. It's a very easy AMG to drive. Now, of course, it's not a full-blown AMG, so you would expect that for sure. It doesn't make much noise at higher speeds either, so road noise is well contained. Tires offer stupendous amount of grip. I think the 4MATIC system offers so much grip now that the tires are like not giving the opportunity only to chip in. And then you want to make a quick overtake out on the highway or anywhere, it's able to do that very quickly because the mid-range punch is stupendous. Around 3000 RPM now, this motor gets up. Okay, the turbo sucks in everything it can, and then it gives you a, what do I call this thing? Yeah, what is that? क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Whip नहीं यार, जो फेंकते हैं ना वो डंडा लंबा सा.
Boomerang.
Not a boomerang. Javelin throw. Yeah, the mid-range will give you sort of a javelin throw, but you have to be really careful over bad roads because you want to keep those alloy wheels safe without a doubt. And even if you operate the gearbox yourself, you will enjoy how, oh my god. In fact, the suspension is kind of so stiff now that even when you brake really hard, it doesn't nosedive under heavy braking. That is the beauty of tuning the suspension for sporty needs. Body roll obviously has to be there, but for a car of this kind, body roll is very well contained, and then you come across such twisties, spin the throttle. What a joy. So manual on the gearbox, revving the motor. First gear 52 kilometers per hour, second gear 73 kilometers per hour, and in third gear it gets you past 100 kilometers per hour. So yeah, the gearing isn't as tall as you would expect it to be. It doesn't need to be because of the crisp power delivery now. The only thing is that when you're driving this car in the city, put it on comfort mode, enjoy the drive, don't pin it hard, because it can get quite jerky in sport mode. And through this corner, just look at the way the composure, you can carry great speeds as well. A little bit tail happy would have made it even more better, but unfortunately that is not the case here. It just doesn't want to wag its tail. It just wants to understeer. That also near limit, and the limit is so far off now, you would never ever feel it or never ever reach there either, and unless you're on a racetrack. And if you're on a racetrack, you definitely need the GLA 45, because the 45 has around 100 horsepower more. It's absolutely ballistic, sounds better too. The sound is something which disappoints me in this car. I think it could have sounded a lot better. The problem with the sound right now, it feels, how do I put it? It feels a little meek. Yeah, it is loud, but it's not that AMG growl which you so expect, like no, you don't get that here, because 4 cylinders now. I can't really keep saying 4 cylinders is bad, because now the C63 is also going to get 4 cylinders, but then it's going to get hybrid tech. Maybe hybrid tech and hybrid assist in this car would have made it even more awesome. Oh, what a lovely car. The vertical movement is not there even on bumps. That is the level of suspension tuning on this car. Usually the car will go a little bit up, down on these kind of roads, but no, not in this one. The GLA 35 just maintains its line so freaking awesomely well. I love it. And you pay 12 lakh rupees extra for this car when compared to the GLA 220D4 Matic. So you end up paying rupees 12 lakhs more than the regular GLA 220D4 Matic. And that money is completely worth it, because you get so much power, so much character, and so much better handling as well. However, let me break this to you right away. 3 lakhs more than the A35, definitely worth it. Although if they had charged 10 lakhs more for the GLA 45, I would have suggested that as well. Now this is of course the third AMG to be made in India, which is actually assembled in India. The first one we all know, the second one also we all know, so I'm not going to break that to you right away. First one is the GLC 43 AMG, the second one is obviously the A35 AMG, and this is the third one, the GLA 35 AMG. I'm waiting for the day when they actually make a 45 or a 63 in India. That would be so freaking awesome. The horn, loud. Okay, I wish the exhaust was louder than the horn though. That said, 70 lakhs on road Mumbai for this car kind of seems worth it for the level of performance, for the level of, sportiness it has to offer. It's not a full-blown AMG, but it definitely is super duper fun. So guys, this is my vlog of the Mercedes GLA 35 AMG. Fantastic, a lot of fun. And if you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. You go so fast here, still the balance, lovely. I like it, and I hope you do too. Bye-bye. Oh, before we shut, we're just going to turn around this corner, because sweepers, it just takes in its stride with no effort, and then the speed breaker comes, hard on with the brakes, stops dead there as well. Actually, there's no speed breaker here. Kya hua?
पूरा टेढ़ा हो गया कैमरा एंड पूरा सीधा हो गया ऑटोमेटिकली लाइक मैजिक.